Alrighty, that's a little bit better. Less me. Good evening, everybody. What's up? Back from vacation. Subscriber mode. Okay, cool. I thought that was gonna mess up. Let me go ahead and flip my screen over here. Get the TikTok stream going. 1 second. All right, let's go. Alrighty, good evening, everybody. I'm gonna give everybody just a few minutes. Literally, it's almost 8:30. I'm gonna tag everybody in the Discord, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. I have been gone on vacation, so still digesting the market in general. Of course, at the moment, it's crazy. When I left, the market is still sitting uh, at the exact same price. So, hey Potter, did you trade while on vacation? I hope you enjoyed it. I did not trade on vacation, except for on the drive home. Or, well, I did take one position on Facebook before the last day, but I didn't look at my phone like at all. I just was like, whatever happens. And I set an alert so that I could grab my phone and sell it, but nah, I didn't really do any trading. So the Tesla AI did. We can take a look at Baba QQQ Guten Tag. What's up, my buddy? If you guys don't mind tapping your screen. Um, if you're on YouTube, that's not going to do anything though. Probably just going to pause your video if you're on a phone. So, all right. Well, a few more seconds till 8:30, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to recap the news. I'm going to talk to you guys about some my thoughts on mostly Meta. You guys know the deal. This is basically a slow motion attack on Mark Zuckerberg's net worth, but we are going to cover some possible targets with that. This one has the best moves, in my opinion, out of the Qs in general. Manny said it today. The bids really open up when this thing falls, and that's exactly the kind of stuff that I like to see. Welcome back, my boy. What's going on? Neo, BKNG. We can take a look at those in a minute. You guys know the deal. If you have a request and you want that request requested or unrequested, um, drop that request in the YouTube channel. Link is in my bio, and you can hop right back over to the Discord. But that does help. So, alrighty. But let's go ahead and get started. It is 8:30. Let's see, what is YouTube? We're good to go. Oh yeah, let me go back. REV squeeze. We'll take a look at it. All right, let me go ahead and tell everybody I'm live. Thank you guys for tapping your screen. AMD Spy. I see all of your requests, guys. I will get to those requests, and if you drop those in the YouTube channel, there's a way better chance of me seeing them and charting them in chronological order. So, all right, let's talk about the market. So 4 out of 11 sectors closed green, with real estate leading 1.62%. Energy continued to cool, down 4%. In earnings news, home builder KBH rallied 2.4% after beating the top and bottom line. Like its industry peers, it warned about moderating housing markets. So, Altera shares went up in smoke after the pun intended after the news that the FDA is close to ordering Juul e-cigarettes off of the U.S. market. Additionally, U.S. legislators are setting up to propose a rule limiting nicotine levels in cigarettes. MO was down 9% today. Tesla, Meta, and Spy, AMC News. That's not going to help. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Maybe it does. Who knows? Anyway, Amazon was in the news today debuting its fully autonomous warehouse robot. Speaking of autonomous, dude, the Tesla pretty much, if you're ever driving and you have a Tesla, the autopilot loves the Florida, Georgia roads because it's just a straight line. So you can just let the autopilot roll. Anyway, additionally, we got another ridiculous headline about the new Alexa feature under the development. Alexa will soon be able to read stories as your dead grandma. Twitter is teaming up with Shopify to create Twitter shopping and rolled out its long content notes feature. Despite the news, Twitter shares were still down. Retail favorite REV rallied about 34.32% today after topping the charts. Or topping the charts was the recent IPO. PEV, which rose 70% on the news that the ATIF Holdings Limited investing in the company. Oh my God. In crypto news, coin shares dropped about 9.7% after Binance US dropping its spot Bitcoin trading fees. Additionally, Elon Musk is making headlines for saying he never told people to invest in crypto. Crazy. Tesla layoffs. Do you think it's a hit on the stock? Maybe fundamentally, I think it might be a bump in the road. But if you guys are on TikTok, if you guys will do me one favor while I'm reading the news, just tap your screen and I will get to you your request. I am not doing crypto trading. No, this is stonks. Lined up there. Okay. Anyway, S&P down 0.13%, Nasdaq 0.15, Russell 0.22%, the Dow Jones 0.15%. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about tonight. Fed Chairman Powell testified in front of the Senate Banking Committee, as most congressional hearings go. This one was just as unhelpful as most are for market participants looking to gain an edge on the Fed's overall policy stance. Congressional members spent their time taking jabs at the Fed over inflation. Some seem to think Powell controlled the oil supply, grilling him on oil and food pricing, which have been significant driver in the headline inflation numbers, but he is not moonlighting on the oil derrick in his spare time. Meanwhile, Powell spent his time reassuring Congress members that the Fed is committed to bringing down inflation, whatever. However, he reiterated that its monetary policy tools don't affect some critical components like energy and food. He also noted that a recession is certainly possible, but not in the near term, as the U.S. economy remains in good shape, which is total bullshit. The numbers are always smudged, and I'm sorry, but we are definitely in a recession, or at least in the crest of one. Anyway, that received pullback from congressional members who think the Fed has been behind the curve. And we discussed, obviously, we did talk about this last week. The market also seemed to disagree with the Fed assessment of the economy. So, anyway, that is pretty much it. As far as just the news, they never speak on it until it's almost done. Yeah, when they start saying things are going wrong, you're already feeling it. It's already going wrong. So, alrighty. I want to talk about my watch list, and I also want to just point out a couple things here. So, let's zoom out really quickly. And guys, I'm focused on Meta. First of all, from a fundamental standpoint, I do see this company giving us a possible big bounce, but I also see this company going to 80 to potentially $50. I have sat down and I do not see this company recovering from the stupid decisions that it's made, as well as in combination other social medias absolutely obliterating Facebook. The only thing, and it could happen, is that TikTok, if any tensions were to pop off between China and the United States, which I'm not saying is going to happen or is bound to, but if it did, TikTok would likely become a security threat, and then you would see things like Facebook because of Instagram that would cause a recovery and therefore acts a part of the short thesis there. But in the meantime, the setups are great, and the bids, as Manny was talking about today, they come heavy. So that means basically as it falls, I want to show you guys something before I give you guys the full analysis here. But if we go half and half, Meta, and then we're going to go over here to the QQQ. And this is a good practice for anybody. So what we're going to do is what we're seeing, right, is a divergence from Facebook. And again, you guys can hit the link in the bio and drop any request. If you guys have any requests, hit the link on YouTube or in my bio for YouTube. I'm live there. It should just go click on the actual Simple Stacks investments and then drop your request in there. So Anyway, we have Meta. We have QQQ on the hourly. You guys can probably tell me what the difference is here, and I see a big difference. I see a very divergent stock as far as movement is concerned, and I also see a far more liquid stock. Some people ask me, why don't you just trade the ETFs? I personally like to find the more liquid stock within that ETF and focus on that one. A lot of the times the moves are exacerbated, and sometimes they hot potato between certain names. But if you go look at the heat map, you'll see Meta, Google, Microsoft. Those are the top three, and those are the top three that I usually will look at. But you can see as this one is falling, this one is staying in range. So, Hacker, how was my vacation? My vacation was dope. I had a good time. Oh, 1 second. I'm sorry. How you doing? Oh, thanks. Sorry about that. My Uber order was I Uber Eat ate, or I'm going to Uber Eat. I said to leave it at the door, and then she was just waiting by the curb. Um, so kind of defeats the purpose there. Uh, I do crypto. No, I don't do crypto. I just invest a little bit here and there, and like a little bit here and there. That's and I'm not buying right now on the downtrend, but I'm not a trader, so. Do you think meta puts are good? I'm about to talk about that here in just a second. So, I see two charts. I see a falling meta. I see a ranging QQQ. And am personally still thinking that the Qs are somehow going to push up and hit the 290s, possibly even 292. This is a megaphone pattern. It has respected everything about a megaphone pattern, including, and if you're confused on what this is, then it doesn't matter what kind of pattern it is. It's just oftentimes a raging pattern, but oftentimes also a reversal pattern. It gives you a strong final move to the upside before oftentimes seeing a dramatic fall. And this is on the hourly, so you can take that drama and dial it down just a notch. But regardless, there is still upside on the Qs. And right now, looking at Meta, we have what appears to be a falling wedge. All right. But it's the hourly time frame, and I'm looking for an extended move to either the up or the downside, so that way I can set up a spread, and I'm not just playing for crumbs inside of a range. So what I see right here, and we discussed this in the Discord today, this is a valid support. I do have a resistance coming off of the top. Remember, if you're just watching me, key levels are key, okay? And I'm not, obviously, I haven't marked those out yet, but right now, and this is where doing a little bit of zooming out will help you a lot, even as far as the monthly is concerned. So take a look at where we're actually heading, or where we're actually at on the weekly chart. And it's pretty crazy because these are the zones that it's not a question. Unless you are in a parabolic crash to the downside, these levels will get respected. Period. End of story. And that is right there at 151. 151.03. Okay, so that is just the major reload zone where we've seen the biggest bounces, the most respect, at least going back to May. And the last time Meta was at this price was May of 2017. So that being said, again, we have fell through the ceiling. Oftentimes you're going to go for a retest before you move all the way down. And that is something that I'm going to be looking for, especially as we zoom in and we can see, okay, again, I'm going to show, I think we have a head and shoulders on the QQQ. I've seen a lot of people say that, but I'm not, this is a head and shoulders, right? This is more viable for a head and shoulders because you have a solid neckline here. These oftentimes when people show you like a head and shoulders, it's actually just bouncing from support to resistance on a downtrend, and can oftentimes be mistaken for a head and shoulders. But I stick with the linear head and shoulders. But okay, one last thing that I want to point out here. So we see our support. I showed you where we're at on the daily. These are all important things to note, right? Now let's zoom in one more time. Okay, I'm going to go to the 1 hour again. So this pattern right underneath, I just talked about 150, 140. I have talked about this a lot. You guys have heard me in the Discord because obviously I want to make sure you guys are hearing this. Confluences, confluences. So dynamic patterns like falling wedges. So if you are dropping any comments on the YouTube or on TikTok or in your request on TikTok, again, YouTube is always the best place to find me and have your chart looked at or whatever the case may be or question answered. So, can you talk about the whole HMA line and how it influences your trades? I would love to if you could drop that comment on the YouTube channel, so that way I don't forget. Anyway, I know that was a lot for just Meta, but what I'm expecting is Meta to move to the 150 mark if it does end up breaking out of this wedge or down from this wedge. I've talked about obviously 1, 2, 3 off the top, 1, 2, 3 off the bottom. So there's a chance that we fall through, hit 150, and I am looking to bounce Meta at that point. Oftentimes wedges extend themselves into what? Channels, and that's exactly what you may see here. So anyway, that's about it on Facebook. So tomorrow, I will be looking for a definitive break below 154.65. 154.65. We need more knowledge tip videos from the young one. Yeah, for sure. She's gonna be dropping some predictions on Sunday. Right now, she's pooped out, dude, from the vacation. I've never seen my kids sleep that hard, but so my daughter was snoring like a full-grown man. So anyway, that's Meta. I do expect, and again, I can expect all I want, I can predict all I want, but at the end of the day, I only make money by reacting to the market. So just keep that in mind because my thesis, and it's good. If you're somebody who sticks to your thesis until the end, you're losing money because your thesis is not going to always be right. Your thoughts on or your opinion or predictions are not always going to be correct. So if you are somebody who changes predictions or changes thoughts, that's going to be a strong suit in the long run because it's supposed to happen. 154 is the bounce for Meta. I have 154, 154.65 is a bounce level, yes. Is the last bounce level that I have. So just looking on a smaller, lower time frame, we may end up gapping down. So that's really what I'm going to be looking for on Meta. And so far in after hours, I believe that we have. You may end up being around 154.65 to 154.50. Anywhere in that range is fine by me. If you open up with that small gap, I anticipate a retest. And again, Powell is talking tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I'm going to say it about a billion times. I'm looking for a retest of 157.27, and we're likely going to stay in range until Powell talks. From there, depending on how he handles that, we could see a pop out of this wedge and a move to the upside for a potential move. I always do 50% retracements. That would be 166.25. But if we do not and we move to the downside, there's a quick scalp down to 151 where I will 100% bounce Facebook with next week's contract. So, opinion on buying shares of Snap. I don't really. Snap has no. I don't. I'm not bullish on Snap. I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. Moving forward, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at. Will you be at live on the Discord tomorrow? Yes, I'm back. So if you guys, yeah, I'm back. So I'll be live tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. And the next day. Actually, no, it's the weekend, so never mind. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go down in chronological order from the YouTube channel. So if you guys have any requests, make sure to drop those there. And let's see. Upside gaps, 4.6% from red. Took Apple put today. Bounce off of resistance 157. Bounces happen off of support, but let's take a look. So I already have this charted from last week, and because the market hasn't moved at all, It has obviously stayed in range. Alrighty. So number one, I talked about this before. I'm pretty certain that this is SPY and Apple. This is the same thing you're looking at on the cues. Again, I'll show you one more time. So there you go. Apple, the cues, Facebook, all of it. These are all megaphone patterns. All right. Anywhere underneath 130, and again, 137.25 is your nearest resistance. Anywhere above that, anywhere above, and you need to pay attention to the wicks here, but anywhere above 157.60, that would break you into this zone. The median there is 138.35, and then you have 139.25. And Apple's pretty good at jumping into these levels and moving to the upside. And then obviously at that point, you can expect a rejection. 140 is a psychological number. And if you take a look at that 140 mark, it's right around this gap fill here. And it's also right around my projected resistance of, and timing is everything. So 141.35 to 141 even. So. My guy, welcome back. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. If you guys are on TikTok, if you guys don't mind tapping your screen, I'm moving down. How can you be bullish? I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? Me of all people. So, I mean, I'm not long-term bullish. I just am looking at what I see what I see. I know that megaphone patterns are oftentimes big liquidity hunts from institutions. They jack up the price. People take upside positions. They think that the bottom is in, and then they drop it out from underneath them. 1, 2, nothing. 1, 2, nothing. This pattern is incomplete, and anywhere below, like on the Qs, 278.25. This thing can move to the 275 mark, and then from there, it would likely go hit support. And then this megaphone would likely reverse to the upside, and then vice versa. So around 292, 15 on the Qs, that is where your resistance is currently. And you also have a pretty sweet confluence with this 200 EMA moving to the downside to likely meet you around that it's actually 293.50, excuse me. So temporarily bullish, right? Temporarily. All right, so let's keep moving. And if you want, I can screenshot that, and I'll post this in the Oh my God. I'll post this in the Discord, so you can take a look at it and compare it. Go make sure to go chart on top of it. Do your own work. Try and maybe argue the point. If you see something different, feel free to let me know. This is going to be in the free chat. So posting all of these charts in the free chat. Okay, so in the Discord channel, if you want to take a look at the charts that I'm looking at, that is where they're going to be. All right, so we've got AXP. Buy AMC short squeeze incoming. You guys are going to end up getting asthma. Seriously. You guys losing all that breath? I'm just kidding. No, I'm not though, because it's honestly at this point exhausting. More people, whatever money is going to be made on AMC has already been lost by retail, by so many new traders who got into the market. And really, I think that it wasn't really these institutions that got played, but it ended up being retail playing themselves. And they just got robbed. Everybody got robbed. So I have a horrible taste in my mouth for. I didn't get burned by AMC. I had my theories on GameStop before it was cool. Again, I don't mean to brag, but I did call GameStop to go to $60 when it was at $12.78. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to roast AMC, but gotta do what I gotta do. All right. So anyway, AXP. So when I see stocks like this, American Express, I definitely, you can, it's almost like screaming out right now. Look at the bottom right there. That is 150.25. Bottom right there. These are beautiful zones, and these levels really give me, in fact, these aren't terrible stocks when you're looking long, because it's just like we explained with supply and demand. These respect those levels really, really well. So right now you're seeing the 136, 135, and I do think, actually think that this may end up going down to 135 from here. You can see today you actually ended up pulling back from that 9-day moving average and from that retest after you broke. So anytime you break something, you're always going to retest it, break, retest, okay? Now you're moving back to the downside. So underneath today's low, 141, I would definitely anticipate 137.22 and possibly a lower low of 135. So price target tomorrow, if you do break 141, could be anywhere around 135. Obviously, depending on the volume and sector, but this one does look like it's about to go down. Let's see, make sure I'm not missing anything. And of course, if you have any contradicting opinions, feel free to bring those up. Or if you see something or heard something different, news is important, etc., etc. There's a lot of people on the TikTok or on the YouTube channel right now. If you guys are on YouTube channel or on TikTok, go to Simple Stacks Investment on YouTube or hit the link in my bio, and you can drop your comments in there where I can see them. So, all right. So that's Snap, that was AXP, American Express. Let's take a look at Snapchat, my old enemy. Man, I tell you what, I had a price target last year, September 19th of 2021, of $65. Damn, I think I was off. Okay, so this is nuts. Oh my God, look at the great fall of Snap. Absolutely nutty. All right, so let's go to the weekly chart because I don't really have anything on this. And I want to see where some really, really key levels is. I want to see where volume is, and we're there. We are literally at the zone, just like most stocks. And you have lost all of your value since April of 2020. I mean, really, you've bounced off this 1324 many times. From IPO, from here, you ended up bouncing off of this level multiple times. That being said, anytime you see a level well respected, the story is right there. You're liable if you anywhere underneath it and a continuation of the downside to drop to the next one, which is going to be the $11 even, and then I have, it looks like 10.50. And that's on the weekly. So these, when I find targets on the weekly, these are going to be far more formidable levels than anything that you would find on the daily, right? So as you zoom in, those levels get weaker and weaker, essentially. But I want to mention one thing. Snapchat, since, let's go look at the last time it was green. We'll go ahead and call it since February of 2022. And I guess if you want to be more realistic, you could even say April, the beginning of April. From the beginning of April, Snapchat has done nothing but dump. I would not be surprised if you saw some profit taken on this stock and a move back into the, I'm not going to say 20s, but maybe even the teens, mid, I mean, it could go to the 20. But right now, most of your moving averages on this higher time frame are all lagging behind you. Moving up, let's go ahead and move that over. All right, so now that we kind of got an idea of what's going on the higher time frame, ooh, there's bad things right now on Snapchat. So again, looking for those little levels here on the lower time frames. Beautiful. Look at that. This is really dope. Okay, so anywhere above 1350, that is where you could see some serious movement, or not serious movement, but you would more than likely see a move up into the point of control. That's 1425. That would be a solid retest for Snapchat. I'm looking at Snapchat right now. It looks like it has an hourly bear flag, but anytime something like that shows up and it looks super obvious as it does now, I often anticipate a fake out or something of that nature. So I would say really anywhere above a candle close hourly time frame 1375, you're more than definitely with the Q support market overall going to move into the 1450s to 1425 level. Above that, and this is just basic supply and demand, I would anticipate seeing Snapchat up around the 1550. So, did I watch the Zuck Kramer interview? No, I haven't, and I'm going to, and probably going to make some less than savvy content on that one. So, welcome back. Hope you had a happy Father's Day. Oh yeah, it did, man. It was dope. What do I think about the REV squeeze happening at the moment? Yo, what's going on, man? Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Wow. I have this charted. All right. And I'm not going to say that I called it. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I didn't call it. I didn't call it. But no way. That's nutty. Wow. And that was caused by the possible acquisition of Revlon. That's right. And look what you got, guys. Basic supply and demand. Yuck. All right, so let's drop some levels here because this one's about as clear as day. Revlon looks kind of crazy. All right, so look where you went. All right, I'm not making this stuff up. Super duper well respected support right there at that 10.25, $10 level, and then looky here, you end up tapping right around there, and then you get slammed back underneath 825 and that 200-day moving average. More than likely, the short squeeze will fade out. Okay, because what just happened is possibly any bag holders from up here were just given a chance to get out for minimal burn, and you know there could be some big bucks in there, but you have a gap underneath you down to 615. And I would venture to guess that if you lose today, if today's low gets lost, 750, I would 100% bank on. I would, you know, you don't have to. You need to do your own, you know, due diligence after this. But you know, I would bank on a gap fill to 615 and possibly a fade out all the way to the $5 level until anything gets confirmed. And I don't know anything about whether it's confirmed or not. But that would be the news that I would be waiting on. So I do not take requests from spammers. So if you're spamming the certain ticker in the on the TikTok, I can't help you. That is on the list though. If you're on YouTube channel, you can obviously your request. I'm working my way down that list right now. All right, so JPM. This is good, breaking off the chart rust. Hot damn, dude, look at Banks. Yuck. There we go. Alrighty, so the ceiling becomes the floor becomes the ceiling. And when I look at this chart, I mean, I definitely see a stock that's fallen underneath its floor. Its floor was 117, high 119.25. So you have fallen there. Does look like on the daily you are respecting a downtrend here. All right, so I see a channel down. It looks like JPM, you could look at 107.03. That is also a gap fill at 105. So 105 gap fill, and I would actually say that, you know, if you stay, because right now it's 112. Let me mark it out for you really quickly. This actually looks pretty good. So these levels, if I was playing JPM, I'd be watching obviously 117.35. There's a gap fill up to 119.44. That's possible, but anywhere as long as it stays underneath here, even if it does gap fill, I definitely would still be thinking a little bit further down. Underneath this 1250 support, and most of the confluences that I see are around 105. So a $10 drop on JPM. This channel is pretty strong to the downside. Every time I look at banks, I always love to ask if you're in the Discord, top shelf, obviously as much as experience as that guy has, in that sector, in these sectors in particular, he can give you some longer term, more fundamental analysis. But as far as technical, just literally in a very, very clean downtrend, I would expect a support hit around 107 to 105. So, can I explain a gap fill? Yes. So a gap fill is essentially, so when price moves overnight, or after hours, well, overnight, after hours, whatever, and in the morning, in the morning trading, you'll usually see before the bell, right at the open. Sorry, I'm relearning how to use my words apparently. If the price opens up higher than yesterday's close or lower than yesterday's close, that forms a price gap on the chart. On more liquid stocks, oftentimes high frequency traders take advantage of these stocks by pushing them through an area of low volume. So think about it this way. During let's say, well, not even let's say, in the morning and after hours, there's incredibly low volume in comparison to regular trading hours. So pushing over these levels, even in short term, is really, really easy. So JPM breaking above this 1780, or even just this 1750, is more than likely due, depending on sector strength, and that's probably the most important thing here, is that it's more than likely going to push up and through that gap. And you'll notice that when it fills its gaps, or when stocks fill their gaps, they often deadpan or just sit there, or they bounce. So, all right, let's take a look at Tesla. If you guys are on TikTok, if you don't mind, please tap your screen. Help me out, help the algorithm out. Every time you leave TikTok, it just forgets about you. They don't care anymore. They're like, cool, vacation. See ya. Alrighty, so Manny has been, and this is really, really funny because Tesla looks like the opposite, right? This looks like it's already like completed that megaphone. It's really kind of like leading the market in a weird way. Take a look at this. Guys, I'm confident in what I see, and I see what I see here. So Tesla, I'm just going to say Tesla underneath 685, you're more than likely going to push through your gap. 650 psychological number, but expect a dump. I would expect a dump down to 590 and as even far as 580s. Personally, still bearish. We're in a downtrend, but of course, that can change anywhere above the current high candle close, with the nearest resistance being around 745. So anywhere above that, obviously things would change from there. But at the moment, this thing is leading. So while other stocks really ETFs are still in the median here and have a little bit of upside left, if you continue to respect this chart, I would anticipate a pullback still. So I forgot to copy this. Holding 1.3K Etsy at 130 FML. Should I sell call? Listen, I would first of all start looking into the fundamentals and see exactly, if what you felt about that company you still feel. Do you feel like can you hold through another 25% drop? Like there's some things that you need to be considering. But at some point, all stocks are going to bounce and you can take advantage. I look at the stock market, if I'm in a position that's failing, as an opportunity to almost forget about it and start focus. It's now a stock to trade. It's now a stock to look at those long-term moves and start looking for a way to either just not necessarily trade your way out of it, but hedge yourself for the long term. So, if I had bought, JPM around here, and I spotted a clean rejection here, on this resistance, then I would obviously be looking for a support break around 128.75, and I would take a position to the downside. And there's a couple key factors for me. This is a part of my strategy. These EMAs and these 9-day moving averages in partnership with the setup overall are oftentimes my signal to move. I look at supply and demand. I don't shut it, like certain things out just because one works and one sometimes. In this case, supply and demand is always key. EMAs are not to be relied on, but they, especially things with like the 20, 50, and 200, if they run in confluence with what you're doing, then that's when they become important moving averages. They're not always 100%. And just because, and when I say that, I mean a lot of people will take a position just because you closed above the 9. That's not what I'm saying, right? That's not how I use them. I use them when I see that the fundamentals of technical analysis are speaking that we will see that move, and then the EMAs obviously back that up. So they're there to almost verify or reinforce, that thesis. So, let's see here. Um, MU? What platform for what? What platform? What do you mean? To trade or chart? This is TradingView. Um, so really quickly, you asked me about MU. Wow, crazy because I remember charting it up here for everybody. This was about as beautiful of a setup you could ever ask for. One, two, three, hoop. You are nearing support. I would still, and I'll double check my levels on the 4. Let's go zoom in a little bit, clean that up. So I would say that you still have a little bit more downside, possibly even around 52.33. But on that drop, I would say 52.43, somewhere in that range, you are going to bounce. MU, even from the beginning of June, has just parabolically dumped. And even before that, it's been in a strong downtrend. So either we break down out of this channel, or just on fundamentals here, we should see a bounce off of supply, and a possible move up for a couple retest. I'm not saying we're going to retest all the way up to 65. But this one does look like it soon. It still has more downside, I think, yet to go, but does appear to be nearing a bounce level. So MU above $60 is when things are looking better. What do I think of Powell's speech today? It was a train wreck. Alrighty. Do I have a video of that TradingView setup? I do, but it's changed. I'm probably going to take that video down and make a new one. So I will write that down. Here, just a second. I already did that one. So let's take a look at SPY. So this is going to be easy. We are sitting at and around support. No ifs, and buts about it. We also didn't get a solid retest of 386.44. I do, or really it could be three. When I give these price levels, it's based off of where the price has bounced before, which if the ceiling becomes the floor, then obviously this is what I would be looking for as far as a target is concerned. But you also see the possibility for the confluence here. So I do see SPY possibly making a move to the upside tomorrow. You did fill your gap there. Anywhere above that 381, you have the 385 and 386 levels. And then from there, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If I lose money on this trade, I lose money on this trade. But I am liable to take a strong position or a stronger speculative position that I'm used to. So the gaps on SPY could take, they could fill in the next month, they could fill next week, or they could fill in a year. So not yeah, all gaps get filled. 98% of all gaps get filled. So I already did Tesla on YouTube. So so anyway, SPY as it moves anywhere below 365, I have support as low as 357.12, and then resistance at 385.97. And I think until that range breaks, we are range bound, and I'm looking for signs of rejections at the top or bounces at the bottom. Okay, so let me reiterate. I mostly trade Meta just because I that stock moves really well, and Mark Zuckerberg, why wouldn't you? I'm also just bearish on the company, period. But for SPY 386.85, if I saw or see a rejection off of that level, I would very much like to take a downside position from there. And you could even use the previous highs of 380 or 382.50 and the loss of 382 to potentially start laying into something like that. So. But below 355, we're in trouble. So and we're on thin ice right now. So how many stocks do I trade per day? Maybe two, if that. Used to even a couple months ago I was trading four, but I don't need anything else. I make bank on. I just paid for basically a week vacation in Orlando at Universal with my kids, just focusing on one thing. So all the money that can be made across the market, I don't care what's moving. I don't care about short squeezes. I don't care about none of that. I just need Facebook to dump or move to the upside. So John, I think by that question, man, and I'm not. I mean this obviously is nice, and I wouldn't mean this mean anyway, but I would just, it could come across as a little coarse. But if you're, asking about Neo, if I had to sell at, $22 a share and it barely got below, so it sold it, and should you get back in? These are things that one, I can't tell you what to buy or sell. Two, my thought process or idea on a fundamental company could be entirely different from yours. And three, and most importantly, is if you're asking those kind of questions, those are not hard questions to find answers to. Even if you are just learning on how or what it means to, do some fundamental analysis on a stock, but it would be, when people ask, should I get back in? That's one of those things where you can tell that I can tell that somebody is obviously there's a fear-based trading in there, FOMO-based trading, and that's what needs to be addressed. Not whether you should buy Neo, but whether can you handle and can you trade around it and not be, not have those emotions dictate whether you get back in or out. And I don't mean that to be, I'm not trying to be crass again, but it's just one of those things where, if you're asking a guy, and I appreciate, a lot of you guys' trust in me, but, one guy on TikTok telling you that this is the stock to buy is probably not a good start to any analysis or fundamentals. So, yeah. I personally would say that if the stock makes you feel uneasy or if you don't believe in that stock wholeheartedly, then you shouldn't participate in the investment in that company. I personally do not invest in Chinese companies at all. So again, long-term stocks, I'm not buying a lot right now at all. I'm not buying anything. So I'm withholding my DCAing until the time is right for me. So how's my vacation? Amazing, and I am a little bit I'm a little bit tired. I'm hitting the wave right now. So all right. Yes, I will be live tomorrow morning in the Discord and on YouTube. I lost $150 today, feeling discouraged. Tell me I'm pretty. Um, well, I don't know what you look like, Herbert, but I love saying your name, so I hope that helps. But I will say that if you lost $150 today, uh, don't let that one thing be the thing that slows you down. We have to be obviously long term stuff. So if you're new and this one kind of punched you in the gut, size down. The market's telling you still have stuff yet to learn. So just go ahead and respect the market and size down and start focusing in on something, maybe a little bit, whether it's just one or two stocks, and make sure you have a solid plan for it. So you may have had all of those things. So what are fundamentals? Just use TA and options, you'll be set. Learn the basics. Learn to crawl before you walk. Of course, and that's the. I wish that I had been said and told the same thing. So, all right. So let's move around. I see PayPal. Okay, so this one actually looks has a similar setup to Facebook, but I remember charting this one and kind of being a little bit puzzled as far as what the real setup is here or what's really going on. Facebook, or excuse me, look at me, I'm obsessed. So PayPal, like a lot of other stocks, is just hovering. And the beautiful thing about just hovering is you just built your entry and your exit and your long and your short. And so what I do for that is I'll like to go to the hourly time frame and start finding where that key support is or that key level is. Looks like 70.75. Go see what's this level. That's 71.75. So 71.75, and then the top is right there. That's 76.15 and 75.80. Okay, so now that we got that done, we got those key levels. See a little something there. A little something there. Looks like you got a bilateral triangle. So, looks like above $75 you have above $74.71 you have a gap fill on PayPal, $75.80. If, and this is a big if because this is a big wall, and I'm going to mark one more level for you because this one's not to be ignored, and that is $77.20. So basically above $77.20 there is another gap fill to watch out for, and that's $79.31. So I would suspect that if PayPal moves above those levels, that's what you're liable to see if the volume is obviously in agreement with that. To the downside, okay? To the downside, $71.30 and $70.60. It looks like that's the low. You are, and again, I want you to pay attention if you're a dynamic charter, if you use dynamic trend lines. That is a absolute channel. So this is how, when I see something like that, I actually get a little bit more excited about whatever play that I'm looking at, because now I have entry, an exit, and a target and all of them are kind of backed up. So let me explain a little bit further. So on the lower time frame, I showed you that we have this triangle. Okay, that's great. But what does it lead to, and where does it go from there? That's the big question that I get most of the time. But once people find one pattern, a lot of people, and I say people, but a lot of people that have met or ran into oftentimes will stop there. You're free to continue to do your analysis as long as you do not see anything else. So below 71.75, I would actually be looking at a short entry with the 69.24 to $69 even as a target to the downside, depending on the trajectory. And then, of course, resistance is at 74.85. The gap fill is all the way there at 75.80. And then, of course, you know, that true resistance of 77.20. So PayPal actually looks really good, and I kind of like this setup a lot, so I might have to set a couple more alerts on it. But all right, let's go McDonald's. Base camera on YouTube. Yeah, dude, I got a tan in Florida. Why not? I got obliterated by the sun. I was damn near translucent. There was nothing I could do. There's no SPF out there that could save me. It's a goner. That Florida sun, dude. That's a different planet. I bet people who are gonna go to Mars are gonna train in Florida. Okay, so this is super clean and kind of cool. So let's take a look. So you got a pretty solid bounce off of support. And it looks like above that 200, that's 245.50. So right dead center in there. I would very much I think you're probably going to hit the retest 250. This one, that's a solid bounce. And then if you go to the daily here, you got a pretty solid bounce. But again, I love it. Again, autopilot here. You can see the 200-day moving average, the 50-day moving average. They're all sitting in confluence with that 245 median mark. So you need, and again, I've explained this a lot. So I've explained this a lot in one-on-ones, stuff like that. You can 50% damn near everything. And if it breaks above that 50% mark, most of the time it's going to engulf that, especially if it's obviously going to close above that. And that's more important. So closing above that 50% mark. So really getting to 146.12, even if you close there, would be preferable. But again, daily candle closes matter there. So what indicator do I just volume with moving average? Demand is strong for fast food restaurants, but profits are compressed by inflation. Very much so, and I think that muddies up forecast. But I think that people still see strength in these sectors. So really, again, on technicals, that would be the level that I would be looking for on the upside. So, are they training in Nevada? That might change. I'm just kidding. All right, so I'm gonna do a few more here, and then we're gonna go ahead and hop off. Yo, what's up, everybody? All right, so Lee Auto, and the only reason I'm going to talk about this is because I gotta enact my revenge at some point. I didn't get smoked on Tesla, but I definitely did not do well trading that thing at all. Oh my God. I just almost lost part of my brain. So it sucks when you're right and then you do it wrong. We saw a big divergence, and I overread it, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. I also was stepping from Facebook, highly liquid stock, moves with the Qs, to a Chinese stock that was holding an open divergence right up against resistance. Was not a very fun stock to trade. Obviously, even in the days where it does trade, you get a lot of gap ups, gap downs. But most importantly, if you go across the board, this is one of the, and I almost want to just retake the damn position, but this is one of the only stocks in the EV market that is holding anywhere near COVID highs. Like this thing is retained, is now gained back its value. It fell all the way to $19, and then has is now sitting at all the way up at 36.80. So either this stock is about to absolutely plummet to the downside from here, and I'm not calling, excuse me, I'm not calling the top, but I will say that if you fall anywhere back below this gap fill 33.50, I think you're in for a long, slow death to the downside. But anywhere above it, of course, read and react. Who cares how I feel? Who cares what I think? But it's 37.46 to the upside. So. Oh yeah, RIP the Lee swing. Yep. And I went right back to Facebook and made it all back because damn Chinese stocks. No, that's a love-hate relationships. I've made so much on Baba, but I've also taken some burns. So, oh, you're making me do the treasury bonds. This thing looks like it's about to break out of a wedge to the upside, straight up. Um, yeah, yeah. I would actually say that 115.13. 115.13. I explain stocks to you? Yes, you own a company. Let's see, what's your ding? EDMC boy. All right, basically, you just started a company where you just hire a bunch of MCs and people call you to book them. Right, becomes a multi-millionaire or multi whatever $1 million company. But you want to grow it and turn it into something even better. So you're looking for investors. So you decide to split your company up into several pieces or several thousand pieces. So you sell off essentially a portion of your company available to purchase by investors in the public, either through an IPO or whatever, however sketchy means you end up getting on the stock market. Not you, but and then that way I could essentially buy and invest in your company. Yeah, and then you could use those funds to grow your company. And you're not dumb. Don't start your journey calling yourself dumb. All right? If you're making an effort to do better in your life and educate yourself, you're not dumb. Being dumb is a I want to believe it's a choice. Maybe not a choice. Sometimes being dumb is just a choice not to change, or not even a choice, but I don't want to make a blanket statement, but there's people who choose to be dumb. I believe that. All right, so if you call yourself dumb, you're gonna believe yourself dumb. You're the only person, who your opinion really matters to. So if you call yourself dumb, there's probably not a high likelihood of progression there. So, do I believe in crypto? I mean, it's real. It's just not. I just think in the current state, it's you got a lot. You got a big change that's going to happen, and that change is going to probably suck. So, all right, we're going to take a look at FedEx, guys, and I'm going to slide out. I'm pretty tired. I'm still recovering from vacation. I'm worn out from the sun, and I took my kids to Universal, so it was lit. I did Lee Skibby, coach. I feel like you describe my trading so perfectly. You're right, but you do it wrong. I'm going to tell you something that changed my trading. Stop looking at your contracts. Stop looking at the gains. Trade the chart, and all of a sudden, things will change. If you can't trade the chart, your expiration is wrong. Trade the chart. I tell you, I don't look at these things. Oftentimes at the end of the day, I'll go look at my gains, but even that sometimes will fuck me up. Excuse my language, but alrighty, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. Real estate investing is a little late for that. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I will be live tomorrow morning. We're gonna go ahead and trade. Try and kick some ass tomorrow, specifically Facebook's. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one.